people, how's it going? On today's video, we are going to be talking about TantrumCon, and doing a little bit of kind of like a review on this convention. Is this one that you would want to participate next year, or is this one that you would just want to keep skipping or not go back to? We're going to get into it today, so let's go ahead and start. So TantrumCon is an intense convention, especially this past year. At February of 2023, I participated in TantrumCon and was media there. So I was taking pictures, I was taking video, I was running around getting content from also creators that came and were showing off their games. This is just an intense convention and a constant growing convention. This is one that is just great, in my opinion. It might not be great for you. It might be something you just might not want to go to, or after this video, you might be like, sign me up for TantrumCon 2024. So let's get into it. So the things I want to go ahead and point out that are like pros why you might want to go to TantrumCon 2023 or 2024, excuse me, is it's a small but has a feel of a big convention. This is a space where it's pretty. They used it up this year. This year they sold out, and so the convention space was pretty tight, and it was jam-packed with fun events, tournaments, tournameals, and table flipping, and also a play to win, and much more things that I'm not even hopeful that I might just skip over at this video. But there's a lot going on in this convention. Small convention, but very has a big feel. Next, let's go ahead and talk about tons of events. There is tons of events that are at this convention. There, again, like I was talking about, tournameals, there are tournaments, there are play to wins. Obviously, those aren't events, but those are things you can go ahead and do. You can go ahead and sign up to play with your favorite content creators that come, your favorite designers that come. They have a bunch of special guests that come, and it's a lot. And another thing that I want to go ahead and point out is tons of contests, tons of things to win. Like I said, the play to wins. They have a huge play to win section. There was a moon pie eating competition from the creators of, or the content creators, rolling dice and taking names. They came out, they did a moon pie eating competition. They were playing Strike. It was a very fun event for everyone that was participating. Everyone had a fun time. Moon pies to me are kind of gross, and as I was getting like video and photos of the event, it was just kind of like but people were enjoying themselves, and luckily there was a limit of eating 6 moon pies the fastest. Some people didn't get through their first one or barely got into their second one. Some people were like just zipping them down like it was a hot dog eating contest. So yeah, it's a lot of contests and definitely a lot of events as well. There was always something for everybody at TantrumCon, whether you are the gamer of the group, a little bit less of a gamer of the group, if you paint miniatures, if you have kids, there is an area for them, and there is just something for everyone at TantrumCon, which is pretty nice. And let's move on to our next point. So yeah, those are some of the things that you would want to go into TantrumCon for. The huge events that they have, the contests. It's the TantrumCon house that's doing it, so they're a lively crowd. They've always got something going on. They're excited about what they're doing. There's a lot of potential for excuse me, play testers. There's a whole bunch of play testing going on. I actually got to play a game that I'm doing a review for called Tir Nanag, and the designer was there, and he had the game, and he was asking me if I wanted to play, and I was like, yeah, let's go ahead, let's go do it. And so your time at TantrumCon is jam-packed, and this is just a convention where you need to have your schedule set and be flexible with it. Sometimes there are things that will come up and you're like, well, I want to go ahead and do that or do this. But yeah, it's a crazy event, and it's a crazy con and a great time, to say the least. It is an amazing time. But let's go ahead and talk about the things that this might not be the convention for you. So the things that me and my wife came up with is that the space is loud and chaotic. So it's a smaller space. It's a small con. So, and the space was used, like it was jam packed. The gaming area was full. The even outside towards like the area where they did their tournament meals, there are people playing crokinole out there, people playing other games, and even in the kids area was jam packed. The miniatures painting area and the library were over in the kids area. So I mean, it was pretty like of a jam packed convention, and it's definitely chaotic at times where you're trying to just go to events and trying to find them, and it's not hard. It's just it's also very loud, so it's just a very loud time. One of the other things that you might be a con for you to go to this convention is they sold out very quickly, which is nice for them. This is kind of like a double-edged sword. Sold out for them, but also the event sold out. So if you were not on top of scheduling yourself for events, they just went boom, boom, boom. There was wait lists left and right. I talked to a bunch of people that were like, oh, I'm at this event or at that event, but this one sold out so quickly. So if you weren't on your events, a lot of them sold out very quickly. And the events at TantrumCon were very popular, so you had to be on that. So it's not like so much of a bad thing, but for the con, that's good for them. But for as an attendee, you might kind of be like, well, I tried to get into this, tried to get into that. You really have to like have your first picks up there ready to go, and you got to be like really on top of your scheduling. Yeah, it's just if that's not you, then, and if you kind of want to go with the flow, yeah, you can play a lot of games, but I think this convention shines with its events and contests, and if you can't get into those or are overwhelmed by the kind of the move and groove of the convention, this might not be the one for you. Another thing I'd like to bring up is that, like we said, it's loud, it's chaotic, but it's busy and it's crowded. And so the area where you go ahead and you play is, again, jam-packed with people. People are playing games a lot. Basically, in the morning, there's not a lot of people, but even towards the evening, in the late hours, it's like there's still a lot of people there. And then once the thrum of the convention goes on during the day, it's a lot of people, and it's pretty jam-packed, and it's a little like, and again, we mentioned it's a smaller convention and a smaller area, smaller space for it. So it can get pretty, I don't want to say claustrophobic, but it's just kind of like, you don't have a lot of space. And if you don't get a table, you might be looking around for one. And even when you get into one, you might be like, 6 tables around you with full-on gaming going on. So that is a thing to consider while going to this convention. Another thing I would like to bring up is, so this is something that it's like, just be curious about next year. They went ahead and sold out for their con for 2023, which is great. Last year, when it was 2022, it was pretty full, and it was kind of like this year, except this year when the tickets sold out and there wasn't any more, again, badges gone, and that was great for the TantrumCon team because it meant they're constantly growing, and they are throughout the 5 years that I've been going to TantrumCon. They've had to switch places from, I think, their humble beginnings at a library to a convention space, or to a hotel space, and then to another bigger hotel space. I think next year they definitely need to go ahead and make sure they have a bigger space. I love the area they're at now, but I definitely would say that they need to get a bigger space, and maybe that's something that they're looking at and hopefully will do next year. But that's, again, a double-edged sword. One, it's great because their con is growing and filling out, and so they're not losing any kind of money on space or anything like that. But the drawback of that is, I feel like if they do this con again at the same place, it's gonna be packed, it's gonna be crowded, and it's gonna be loud, it's gonna be noisy. And if they add badges to it, then it's gonna just get, I think, worse. I think they really just need to get a bigger space, definitely next year, because I feel like they've outgrown their space already. And it was a little bit, you could kind of see it last year, but this year, it was definitely like, okay, you guys are doing great, but this is kind of like, you got to go to another place. You got to make it, you got to get something bigger. And I'm not sure, because one of the great things they have there is tournameals. So I don't know how that would fare with going to other places for tournameal space. But I think that's just something they got to do, because if they are at the same place next year, it's going to be packed, and it's going to be loud, it's going to be crowded, and it might kind of start weighing on like the niceness of the con. But again, that's some of the negatives that I have for the convention, that it just needs bigger space. You need to be on top of your stuff when you're signing up for events. But yeah, and also if you are looking for a con for a nice exhibitor hall, this is not it. They have a exhibitor hall, and they have some interesting people come on by. Again, like the hallway when you first enter TantrumCon is pretty packed full of people showing off games, and even some jewelry creators are selling their wares. And then when you go into the exhibit hall area, you've got 25th Century Games that comes pretty regularly. There was Keymaster. There were some other publishers that were kind of new to me, but it wasn't many. And so if you're looking for kind of a buying experience, this is not really that, especially when you talk about there's that, but then there's also a flea market, which is great. I love the flea market. I've been a part of the flea market for about 2 years now, but again, it's both years have been hectic years for the flea market sales, which isn't bad for the people that come to sell, but also if you're an attendee, it might be a little overwhelming getting kind of jam-packed into those areas. So one of the biggest things about my reservation for TantrumCon for anyone that wants to come next year is making sure that the space is bigger, or that you're comfortable with kind of like the crowds and the noise and the chaoticness of it. But it's the thing I want to get across between all of this stuff is that it is a con that is jam-packed with fun. There is so much to do. It's such a great time. I got to meet a bunch of nice people every year, people that start to recognize what I'm doing, my content, my videos, and just meeting people. I love meeting people at cons and saying hello, playing games, learning new games, teaching games. That's I got to teach like 2 or 3 games at TantrumCon, which was fun and nice, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I hope this was an informative video about it. But yeah, they also, another thing is they have, if you, this is a pro, but if you want to go ahead and meet people, like if you want to go, like I was telling you that they had events where you could play with content creators, designers, that's a thing that is a pretty big plus. They have people come out to TantrumCon that are known in the industry, known designers, known content creators, even the Tantrum House crews, they're running around, and they're friendly, they're kind, they'll go ahead and take pictures with you, they're all over the place. It's a great time. TantrumCon's a great time. It's just, there are just the chaoticness of it. But yeah, overall, I would recommend TantrumCon to those that would want to come to North Carolina and play games and get into a lot of great events and a lot of great contests. But just, I want to go ahead and throw it out there, just know that like, it's a little hectic. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to let y'all go because I want to go play some games, and I hope you're playing games too. But yeah, so yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Toodles!